Record is in action. Anyway, lovely to see you today, Blake. So yeah, thanks for joining. Yeah, what would you like to go over today, or what would you like to bring up? How how's everything? How's everything
Uh,
going?
yeah, I'm also just surviving. I mean, I'm doing good, but I got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm just trying to keep up.
I can imagine.
Um,
I know life as a parent and like partner or husband, and like life's a roller coaster, isn't it? So many
I
things
know.
happen. Well
Yeah.
done to us for holding on by the seat of our pants.
Yeah. Yesterday I released a big, huge piece of mucus.
Wow.
Yeah, it was gigantic. It was like stuck to my stool, you know? And
Wow.
I
That's
was a little
amazing.
worried. I thought maybe it was like a worm or something, but I
Yeah.
think it was just like a big sticky thing that got dislodged.
Your
And
body's
then
detox.
later, yeah, and then later some more came out. Yeah, and yesterday I fasted all the way till like 5:30.
Wow. Just water?
Yeah. Uh, I had water and one glass of pineapple juice.
Wow. That's amazing. No wonder you're detoxing then, because that's why you're detoxing. Mucus is rubbish bags, body's rubbish bags, slippery, safe little places for to export rubbish from our body. So yeah, that's
Right.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then the day before I had fasted like the whole day till like 3, and then we just ate like big salads.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think like Arnold Ehret, he's always talking about doing the broom salad, right?
Brilliant. Yeah, yeah, that's the good fiber. Yeah, yeah. Also, that's brilliant. That is because we do need to like kind of scrub, brush, dislodge, as well as hydrate,
Uh-huh.
which helps loosen up stuff to dislodge it. Yeah, excellent. Well done. Have you been reading the Mucus Diet Healing System or Rational Fasting or that type of stuff from Arnold Ehret?
I have not recently, but yeah, I have in the past. When I did
Yeah,
my big fast, I got real into it, you know? And I wasn't too bad after the fast. But I was like, like mostly cook food.
yeah. Which big fast is it then you're talking about?
In
Yeah.
summer of 2021, I fasted for 43 days.
Was it liquids or it wasn't just water?
Yeah,
No.
no, 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 just definitely juice. I was working the whole time too.
Yeah, yeah, that's the benefits of juice feasting. You're able to work and live your own life. It's just basically a modified eating diet. It's like a liquid diet where you're still getting micro and macronutrients and the digestive system still working, but just it's not as working as much as having plenty of solid foods, but it's working like way more than pure water fast, which is a real fast. So yeah, epic.
When
Yeah,
I did that, I went up to like day 30 and then I was just feeling horrible. And that's
yeah.
when I was like, let me try the enema. And the enema was the one thing that like unclogged me. And then
Mm,
I felt like a lot better. And
I
I
know.
was quite shocked to see everything come out.
Yeah, big time. Enemas are a game changer and a lifesaver for the super unnatural depth of toxicity we have in today's world. Not only just toxins and chemicals that are unnatural and very foreign, like invaders to the body. We don't have to deal with them very, very good with all these chemicals, toxins, that we use in our house, on our cosmetics, or we just breathe in and we eat as part of our food and it's breathing in the smoke and everything else. But even the cooked food and the food we're eating, like cooked animal products, and cooked grains, and like it does leave a lot of sticky and certain degree of poisonous residue that doesn't get eliminated from the body. So and also processed foods, which are sort of not really real food that but recognized with the human body. So there's like a massive waste accumulation all over our body and in our fat cells. And then when it starts to release, it's sometimes just way too much for our body to be able to get rid of. So that's where Enemas is just a really nice, like healthy, non-addictive way to it doesn't cause any harm, in my opinion. And the way to do enemas is do it after you've had a bowel movement, optimally. But no harm if you don't. But if yeah, that's the way to if you're going to do regular enemas, just do it after a bowel movement. Yeah, it's simple.
Yeah,
Never
that's
you're
what I
not
do.
on enemas by doing it after a bowel movement at all, and it'll help so much.
Right. Um,
Yeah, fair play.
so
I
yeah,
did it. 20.
yesterday I also didn't drink any tea at all.
Ah, you
So that
know.
was the first day. Yeah, and I felt fine. I have no headache. I have no headache this morning either. So I think
That's
I
fantastic.
like reduced it slowly enough that I missed all that stuff.
Wow, well done. So you tapered off caffeine. from coffee to tea and then less tea, and then you gave it up and you didn't really have any headache.
Yeah, but I only have done it for one day. So let's see if I can keep it going, you know. But
Ah,
definitely
yeah,
I have no des I don't really have much desire to I have no desire. I could not go back to drinking coffee.
yeah,
Part of me would like to have like a little cup of tea before I leave for work with some oat milk, but I think I'm gonna try and skip it again today.
yeah. Up to you. We all have to taper off in our own like body, mind, spirit readiness. Emotional
Yeah.
readiness. Every type of readiness that we have to deal with holistically. It's not just only physical. So yeah, like with me with chocolate, like drinking chocolate or even just chocolates, I just like reduced it a like great deal. But it's occasionally I have a bit, not really as much solid chocolate anymore. I don't really have that really as much anymore. Like hard, almost never, very extremely rarely. But I will have occasionally a hot chocolate with oat milk, for example.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm just shooting for like way better or better or much better than I was before, and I know I'm on the
Yeah.
path. I'm not trying to be like perfect, but I don't think it's you know you just have to listen to your body. Like if I have a strong hot chocolate, it could interfere with my sleep or give me a bit of a stimulation buzz and then a bit of a mild crash or like mild prolonged tired than I was before I started having to drink the chocolate. So yeah, you just have to like monitor your own body, like how strong is the tea, like do you have it too late, like does it serve you on a particular day, like that type of stuff. Everybody has to learn and be their own leader instead of feeling shameful or judged by others or judging themselves. So, no one's
Yeah.
perfect.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, sounds like you're making great progress in many ways.
Yeah, I feel like I got the ball rolling. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel good.
Wow.
Um, my wife also, she after she finished her fast, now she's also trying to just stick with salad and fruit. And I
Wow.
can see it's helping her so much, you know?
Oh, that's beautiful when you see your loved one being helped by something that they do in their life, isn't it? That's sweet.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then I don't know, maybe we can add some more yoga. Do you do some exercise?
yeah. Like I do some stretching. I do rebounding with my children. I do carry my 15-kilogram toddler, young daughter. She's probably no longer a toddler anymore already.
Uh-huh.
Pull-ups on the monkey bars. It's kind of related to playing with my children.
Uh-huh.
Run after my kids or play chasing or I walk up mountains with my friends, my adult friends. I walk up like sort of small mountains, not like
Yeah.
mountaineering type of big mountains, but yeah, I walk. I do it maybe once a month. I do rollerblading. I used to do cycling, but I don't really have the bike at the moment. Just borrowing it to a friend because he. Yeah, I do more driving than cycling these days. But yeah, I do some push-ups. I do little this, that, and the other, but nothing like proper. I don't have any weights or go to the gym. But I climb trees. Like sometimes, like I do use body weights and various
Uh,
things, and it's totally unstructured. Tends to be more or less an almost daily thing, though. It is. I'm
yeah.
active. Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha, gotcha.
yeah. And my filtration has been amazing recently, so I'm grateful for that. Just taking nettle leaf powder and also doing a little bit of intermittent dry fasting, like microscopic intermittent dry fasting is helping a lot. And yeah.
Okay. Do you wait until like 12 or so before you eat any food? I guess it must depend on the day, huh?
I'm very, very, very unstructured. I'm more like I'm continuous or like consistent in general, but I don't have a exact structure to my consistency. I'm always just seeing how I can like modify or fine tune or improve things. And I go with the flow of like what's happening in my life that day, like who needs me or wants me or what I'm doing or what I have to do, my responsibilities as a parent and with the kids, and also just in general, and to listen to how my body's feeling, like how much exercise I did the day before, if I had a late night or an early night or a good sleep or bad sleep. So like I tend to just not be like mentally regimented, but I try to like be more, I guess, instinctual and listen to my body because I think that's very important because I think it's good to be sort of it's good to mix in being like very totally instinctual while having a mental plan as well. So it's a little bit of a mixture, but it's mostly like leading by my emotions and my feelings of my body in the moment. So like I'm a flexible and adaptable. For example, like let's say I might skip like my mild intermittent fast like once or twice a week, possibly. I used to skip it a lot more. These days I skip it less. And for a while I wasn't even doing any intermittent fasting, but I find it's definitely much better to do a little bit of microscopic intermittent fasting at least. You don't be always eating, for example, or always drinking. Um, but if like let's say I miss one day or I miss the morning, I might do a little bit. I might make up for it in the evening by finishing eating early, for example, that type of stuff.
Right.
Or yeah, that just make up, make do.
Gotcha.
That's what works for me, but we all have to find what works for ourselves. I know people are completely like the opposite as well, and that's
Right.
okay.
Nice.
You have to be careful about being too mental because that can really land people into big trouble if they're overriding what their body's signals are telling them, and especially if they're having caffeine to cover up their body's cries for rest and sleep and having a break, and then they're pushing through like a big, like an immature masculine figure trying to like achieve and prove themselves, and they're not doing it the healthy or balanced way, and then they just burn their adrenals out and they'll be exhausted, they'll be bedridden. I know people like that, and I used to be like that. So that's an extreme, unnatural end of the stick. So I'm talking about just trying to be somewhere in the middle at least.
Yeah, that makes sense. That is what happens, right? You kind of numb your body.
Yeah, it's like numbing your sensors. Your body's sending you signals saying, "Hey, I need this or I want this," and you're like completely numbed out from taking like loads of caffeine. You feel like loads of energy. You do loads of exercise, and you do that as a regular thing. Then you're seriously going to hurt yourself big time. Yeah,
Sure, sure, I've experienced it.
have you? Yeah,
Like you can know, oh, I just made myself sick, by going
yeah,
too by being
yeah.
too high strung, Okay. Huh. Huh.
Dow, too not too much, not too little. Just try and find a healthy center point.
Right.
And the center point is in aligned with nature because if you look at nature, it's active, but it doesn't do too little and it doesn't do too much. It just does a lovely, perfect right amount, pretty much. You know, a, a melon will grow perfectly. Trees will grow in their own way. The breeze will blow. Like there isn't there's kind of big harmony in nature and
Right.
balance. Yeah,
I guess I'm
we're
feeling a little bit like maybe I have a big day, and I have a lot
yeah,
of work and but I'm really not hungry at all right now. Yesterday I didn't even really want to eat.
yeah.
Uh but
I know the
then
feeling.
I had to like do a little bit of work too. And I was like, oh man, I keep thinking about food. Let me just eat something and then I'll just stop thinking about it. But actually after I ate that I regretted it.
Ah, you ate something that wasn't optimal. Is that what you mean?
Like
Oh,
yeah, yeah, I didn't feel quite so great. Um, I think I ate when I really wasn't that hungry.
yeah. Was it raw food? Was it fruit, salad, or was it something cooked or heavy or denser
So
or
yeah,
dry?
it was some cooked food, but it was there was no grains and no beans.
Yeah.
Yesterday is a day called Ekadasi. Do you know that? Do you know
Sorry?
about Ekadasi? Do you know
No,
about that special day? It's called Ekadasi. Comes twice a
no,
month.
no.
It's with the moon. It's like it has to do with like Hinduism and astrology, but it's one day where you're supposed to fast.
Ah,
And
okay.
and naturally your body's digestion is very bad on that day. Or
Wow.
it's lowered. And that was yesterday.
Wow. That's interesting. I didn't
Yeah.
realize.
Yeah. So Hare Krishna people they always do it. Actually,
Ah,
it's a
cool.
day you're supposed to like take a break completely from any materialism, anything except for spirituality.
Oh, that's
And
nice. Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
good.
you're supposed to fast. And they say if you do dry fasting, that's the very best. You get a lot of like pious credit if you believe in
Ah,
such a thing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, now dry fasting, I don't really believe is like 3 days of dry fasting. Sorry, 3 day, one day of dry fasting equals 3 days of water fasting. I don't really believe that. I know that's a thing going around, but I don't really believe that at all, really. I think it's a little bit too mental. And how do people know that? People just like come up. But like I think dry fasting is really good for kidney filtration and your lymphatic system, whereas
Uh-huh.
water is good for everything. It's kind of like an all-rounder and it's like amazing. Animals in nature, when they fast because they're sick or injured or poisoned, they generally curl up in a ball and drink, drink, eat nothing if they're sick or injured. and they'll only drink a little bit. They won't over like drink loads. But humans are so dehydrated and clogged. It's good for us typically to drink like sipping like regularly. Like I think it's approximately like no more than a liter. Like I can't remember, like 8 to 16, like 1 or 2 glasses an hour, like maybe 2 glasses an hour, like 16 ounces of water an hour. Shouldn't sip more than
Oh,
that per hour. Sip, 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 sip. Just sip, 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 constantly, like regularly sipping, but not gulping, like we said in the last call. Because like we need to rehydrate, literally dehydrated mucite plaque. It's like it's just like a gigantic accumulation of old, rotted, dry food, crustiness, and like
yeah.
stickiness, like rubberiness. It's there, you know. The
Uh-huh.
dry fasting won't get rid of that, and apparently dry fasting can potentially lead us more dehydrated, which obviously makes sense. But I
Sure.
think shorter term dry fasting is generally safer, or people who aren't already too dehydrated. So you've already done a lot of cleanses and maybe juice feasting or raw food for a bunch of years, as well as some maybe potentially water fasting. I think that's much safer and better than to dip into dry fasting, like for a few days at a time. But I think for nearly everybody else, I think it's much more healthier and safer and balanced to only do like a microscopic dry fast for a few hours a day, or a few hours every few weeks or a week or two. Basically speaking, like don't do a long, like more than 2 or 3 days dry fasting for most people. Most people would really benefit by having sipping some water and going on a raw food diet or doing a juice feast and doing some enemas
Mhm.
or collage. This is
Right.
stepping order. I feel for sure it is much safer, and like yeah, like I do understand dry fasting. It's very beneficial, but I do also think there's a safer stepping order to work up to it. Um, it's like first things first, you know. But yeah, dry fasting for a day should be fine as well, like 24 hours for most people. Not most people aren't going to hurt themselves with that. But I wouldn't even fully even recommend that for a lot of people. It's just so toxic unless you're even on a raw food diet for a while or a healthy whole food vegan diet, and your health is
Right.
pretty deep. If your health is really shit, if you've been on a like processed food diet or an cooked omnivore diet, and you haven't really done like veganism or raw veganism for a long time, I think it's much safer and more practical just to do some a day or two of water fasting, 1, 2, 3 days of water fasting, or just like a juice feast with intermittent like day or 2 or 3 water fasting if you feel up for it, and you're not maybe working while you're water fasting or dry fasting, like you know, depending on your health, of course. I wouldn't
Right.
I, I wouldn't be driving around in a weakened fasting state if you're operating machinery or like you have children to mind, or like you're working with children or working on a job. Like you don't be going around struggling and you're feeling weak and slightly faint and not really thinking properly. There's a time and a
Yeah.
place for everything.
Right. Yeah, that's how I was feeling yesterday, weak and faint.
Yeah, yeah. That's the burden of
But
life,
it was
isn't it?
like
Like
a good, it was like I felt like it was kind of like I needed to be in that I needed to feel like that at the moment.
yeah, like and that's
Uh,
okay. You're not burdened with responsibilities, or you're still able to operate, so to speak.
right.
Right?
Yeah, and I'm feeling much better this morning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I know the
So,
feeling of eating like when you're not feeling hungry, because then your digestive system is saying, I don't want anything right now, I just need a break. And then even if you eat like a salad or like a smoothie, like a big smoothie, if you're not even hungry, you will feel tired after the food, because literally your body's
yeah.
saying, I'm not ready for food. And if you're forcing in food, no matter what it is, cooked or not cooked, cooked will be typically definitely much more burdensome typically, or strenuous. But even raw food, if you're not hungry, it's never a good practice to start shoveling in food either.
Sure,
And
sure.
I'm learning. I know that like too. Like I have a habit of emotionally eating not hungry sometimes, depending on my stress, or I used to eat more from stress or upset, and it'd be heavier or denser. So it
Uh-huh.
could have been cooked. It definitely could have been like burgers, like vegan burgers back in the day, and like this, that, and the other, and I'd eat too much of it as well, and it'd be heavier. I'd feel like definitely like more like sedated. Whereas these days, I'm still sort of, I'm saying what you call like sort of recovering, or like what would you call it? It sounds strict saying in recovery, but I'm still fine tuning and learning how to deal with myself, my emotions, because I don't really take much of anything anymore. So I've learned and grown a lot. Like I don't really have chocolate. I don't really have a solid chocolate, hot chocolate. I don't have tea. I don't have coffee. I don't have like drugs. No marijuana. No alcohol. No other drugs. I don't smoke. So I'm just left with food. And so these days, what I do is I minimize. Like if I am stressed, I'll either not eat, and I recognize I'm stressed and I'm thinking about eating just for the pure sake of it, or also if you're bored, like that's I'd emotionally get into boredom sometimes the last like 18 years to
Sure.
switch to
Yeah.
like so like food has been my thing, my vice, where other people have a whole lot of different vices. And obviously I'm not the only one who has food is their thing. Others have everything else as well. So then these days I'm more likely to have some raw food, if at all, like a salad or whatever, smoothie maybe, and it wouldn't be to the point where I feel sort of like full or stuffed or anything like that. Whereas in the past, when I was less mature and less emotionally healed, and maybe all yeah, then I'd be like doing things a bit overboard and getting like sedated and just sort of then I wouldn't want to do anything and wouldn't be in an energetic, cheerful mood as much. Whereas these
Yeah.
days I maintain my overall like physical, mental, emotional state much more even keel, no matter what's going on in my life.
Ah.
Does that make
You,
sense?
you
Yeah.
don't. Yeah. That made me think that. So yesterday when I ate that food, which it was mostly like kind of like I guess like squashes that were cooked, a little bit of squash, cooked squash, and zucchini
Yeah.
and
That's
um
light
and
relative.
yeah, yeah, and carrots and quinoa, and it was kind
Yeah.
of like curried together,
Ah, cool.
and but it definitely felt like it wasn't as hydrating as the
Yeah.
salad that I ate the day before. Like when I ate that salad, it felt like really refreshing.
Ah, lovely. Yeah.
And then the
That's,
food I ate yesterday, it was like too solid.
yeah.
But I also, sorry, maybe this was, I think actually part of the problem also was I ate that cooked food. I didn't have any salad with it, right? And then
Besides,
also I had like 4 dates as dessert. I started with two and then I had two more.
yeah.
And I had some peanut butter mixed with honey.
Ah,
It
yeah,
was,
yeah,
so I think all of that was like too heavy.
yeah. It makes
When
sense.
my body is kind of right now, it's like, oh, we're going light. So I'm craving juice and fruit you know, and then I went too heavy and it was, yeah, it did give me a little bit of a, I don't know, bad feeling.
Yeah. It's all like a learning process. Like everybody, everybody has to go through this process, and when they're learning about this or growing in this part of life. Yeah, when we haven't been eating much, or if we're doing an intermittent fast or breaking a fast, like a juice feast or water fast, or even just like let's say we do a few hours after waking up, we don't eat anything. Your
Yeah,
body, your body is more suited to having a smaller amount of food than our first food intake be a bit bigger. So you probably already know that anyway. If we have too much all in the first go, like breakfast, so to speak, even if we have
yeah,
breakfast or as in the afternoon, the first food should, generally speaking, it shouldn't be as big as our typical amount if we don't had to be already eaten prior in the day. Because it's like
yeah.
starting the engines of our digestive system. It's not like fully revved up and fully in gear to have a bigger amount. And like some days, for example, for breakfast, I might just have like a few bites of melon, like, or I might not eat anything or drink anything for like 2 hours or something, which isn't like it might not sound a lot to a lot of people, and in many ways, it's not a big huge deal either. But for me, I've had a tendency to eat or drink like sooner being out of bed instead of like 2 hours or 2.5 hours or an hour and a half. Sometimes just get it straight into having something. So these days I might just even like break my nighttime fast with just a few bites of something, like a few bites of melon or like a glass of almond milk or something small. I find for me my body is definitely better. Then it starts to like
Uh-huh.
wake up and get into action, and then I might wait a good while later, longer. Yeah, and like what you did, if you mix the sweets and the savory together, like sweet fruits with savory cooked food, it is not really the best mix. Like that can definitely make me quite tired. It's like the
Ah,
digestive enzymes are all a mismatch. You need enzymes for this way, for this way. They might be conflicting. Like some people say you need like acidic juices for like animal proteins and stuff like that. and you might need alkaline juice, enzyme or digestive juices for like fruits and plant matter and salads. So if you mix them all together, is that you're sort of like weakening and impairing the digestive power for digesting like both everything you're having, like both this and that. So it's better just to have one
Oh.
thing high in protein or amino acids or just cooked or just sweet, you know. Um I find having salad and a bit of fruits isn't the end of the world, not too big of a deal, but fruits, sweet stuff with cooked food is a bit of a big no-no for me. I don't think it's going to suit anyone's digestive system very good. And typically, it's always better to have sweet stuff first because it digests the fastest. Like have fruits or dessert first, wait a little while, and then maybe have cooked food. But landing in like cake and dessert or dates and or apple pie, the sweet stuff after, it's not good because it digests much. You probably know, but like the cooked food is much slower, and then you're going down your pipe system of the end of this your small intestines, and you're putting in something fast to digest, like fruits or apple pie or cake or even just like a sweet drink, like hot chocolate or something, or sweet coffee, or even just like bananas and dates or smoothie, anything sweet on top of the cooked food. This is going to try to go faster, and this is going really slow. So there's a roadblock, and then the sweet stuff will ferment, and like yeah, it's just not good for the digestive system. So like our body's like Ferrari, like it's an incredibly perfect system, and it requires fine tuned fuel. So simpler is better. Like we put in petrol or maybe diesel. We don't put in like ten, like one liquid, another solid, and liquids and powder and like bits and bobs and another fuel and like 10, 15, 20, 30 ingredients into our fuel. It's just like one fuel and it's actually a liquid. Our body will eventually, and even we tried a juice feast. I did a 35-day juice feast once and another smaller ones, but we definitely will. Simple is better for human beings. So we don't need to get in like for people who say, oh, but we need like loads of nutrients. You can't just get it from one food in one go. Like five ingredients like in a salad is better than 50. Five fruits is better than like 20 fruits in a smoothie, or like one fruit's even better for optimal digestion than two. Two is better than three in a smoothie, for example. Or if we're eating like a salad bowl or a fruit bowl, less is better. Less is more, you know. But we don't have to like crazy about this either. I'm just saying optimal versus functional and like practical and how you fit in body, mind, spirit. We do our best, you know. No one's perfect, and I'm not saying you got to do anything. I'm just saying this is how the body works. So what we need to do is in the space of a week or a month or a year, that's where we want variety, not in a meal. Totally different story. We don't want to get in like all of our nutrients, like 50 ingredients in a meal. We might get 50 to 100 ingredients, different things we eat in the space of a week or a month or a season. We want seasonal, maybe variety potentially, or yearly variety. Doesn't have to be in one meal in our tummy. That in fact that impairs digestibility and nutrient availability and absorption. We get less by eating more. We might get kind of like more variety, but it's sort of a big scrapyard like mishmash. It's non-optimal. So we will definitely save tons of energy by simplifying and shortening our ingredients in a meal because it is so easy. And digestion is the number one thing out of everything a human can do that uses the most energy by far and can make us the most tired and sapped and drained.
Right. I was hearing
Digestion.
about that yesterday. Yeah.
So it can be and usually is our biggest waste and loss of energy. Digestion.
Wow.
What we eat, how much we eat, and when we eat is imperative, and how much of the thing we eat in the go as well, like how many ingredients also. Is a complex mixture in our tummy, in our intestines, or is it not? And that's something we can all just like learn, listen to our body, play around with, see how we feel, like the way you're doing, the way I'm doing. And little by little we'll start doing a bit more of the stuff that makes us feel better in life. And for me, it's a little by little process where we start doing more of the stuff that makes us feel better in life. But we'll still like
Yeah.
fall back from there, of course, definitely. That's just part of being human.
Right. Right.
Yeah, like I
Right.
know people who live in liquids and they're amazing health and they look way better and glowing and way better skin health, eye health, vitality, energy, exercise ability, and they've been living on liquids like for example like 5, 6 years or more. And compared to like their old YouTube videos like 5, 6 years before, they're glowing, they're vibrant now, and
Uh-huh.
everything's working good. doing amazing, and they're performing excellently physically and mentally and emotionally. So liquids is a very excellent way to go as well. Like, but that's like a different level. Most of us aren't ready for that at all. Like, but I definitely know loads and loads of people who do live a liquids lifestyle, liquidarian.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah, it's like fuel in the car, like you're putting in a liquid in your mouth. But if we eat, at least we can try and simplify it and make it not too dry, which is the opposite of a liquid. So like dry food will dehydrate us and stop our energy too, like cookies. A lot of cooked foods be a bit liquid depleted because of the evaporation or not using a lot of water, except for soup. Soup's the best cooked food for sure in terms of digestibility and non-wasting loads of energy.
Wow. Yeah, I love soup.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, soup is pretty good. You can make raw vegan soups too. Like you definitely make raw soups for sure, easy. Just like it's actually even quicker. You blend it and you make it nice and tasty. It can be creamy
Uh-huh.
by adding in nuts or your own like coconut milk or almost anything. Like almost any nut or seed you can make your own raw soup out of. And you
Sure.
blend it with water and some herbs or seasonings and you got a lovely soup. Even today I made a lovely korma curry sauce for our salad. Just like a whole lot
Oh,
of pine with some fair bit of water. I kept watering it down because it's more like a thick, like paste almost. It was so delicious that I added some like Himalayan rock salt. It was for me and all the family, so we can all have something. And then I added some nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast, salt, and water and pine nuts and curry powder. I think that's it. Five type of things. Obviously, the
um,
corn like curry has a few more ingredients, but it's just a powder. It's not that's not the end of the world. Yeah.
do you
So tasty,
uh,
very tasty. You could add it. You could use it as like a warm. You could warm it up into a soup and add a bit more water and add in some like chopped carrots or tomato or anything you want. Like literally anything you want to put in there, even green leaves like spinach or lettuce or whatever. Or you could just use it on top of your own salad of leaves and other things. You just pour it on top like a sauce.
oh
So yeah,
yeah.
before I kind of shopping and claim here.
Nice. All right. Oh, and I think I better leave you, but I'll just ask you, did you ever try the famous Hare Krishna salad dressing? Have you heard of this?
I didn't, but I bet I'd love to try. Yeah, go for it.
It's easy to make. You use you can Google it, but it's just roasted almonds.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, maybe like, a little bit of oil,
All right.
water, nutritional yeast, Bragg's liquid amino,
Yeah.
and lemon juice.
Ah, sounds good. It was
Yeah, it's real
tasty.
famous. It's famous because they the devotees they serve it in Florida. They have a
Ah,
big college there, and even since the 70s, they've been like selling their food there, and now they're like famous. There's like 500 kids buy it every day, and so but that's the salad dressing they use every single day, and
ah,
everybody loves it. Like it never gets old.
that's great.
It-
Yeah, that's
It's
good.
real good too on like steamed vegetables.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah, you can put it on anything. It never gets
I
old.
can imagine. It strikes up the idea of like what's it called, like sandwich spread, like a little those spreads, like a little bit salty, a little bit tangy, a little bit like sweet, like a really
Yeah,
yummy.
yeah. Give it a try.
I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Thanks, Blake. Yeah,
Sure, sure.
cheers. Well, listen, all the very best today and everything you're doing, your new job and your new thing you're doing, and blessings upon your day. And thanks for coming on this call. It was great to talk to you today.
All right. Thanks, Owen. Have a great day.
Cheers, bro.
See
Thank
you.
you, Blake. Bye bye. Take care. See you.
Mm. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Go. Bye bye. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Blessings upon your day. Much love. Take care.